Good evening everybody and welcome to tonight's live training, Mastering Digital Selling. I'm Dean Seddon, CEO and founder of Maverrik, and we're going to be doing a training session and getting you to think a little bit differently about how you're selling through digital channels, email, social media, all of those things. So if you're here and you can hear me just as we're getting ready, we've come on a little bit earlier just to check that everything's working. We had a glitch last week and literally a couple of minutes beforehand all the audio failed and I was like, So we moved to my laptop or to my computer. So if everybody's here, I can see Rick's here, I can see Yuma's here, George here, Kareem, Mac, James, Helen, Alistair. So welcome, just let me know that you're here and in the chat and we'll get started in 1 minute. You're gonna need notepads and pens for tonight, so please have that ready. There's no hard sales pitch here, by the way, so we're not going to kind of go, here's something and buy this, buy this, buy this. That's not how we work. So this is going to be getting you to think a little bit differently about sales. Fazeo can hear me brilliant. Daniel can hear me awesome. Andy can hear me perfect. So we're going to start in 1 more minute. Just get everybody here, see everybody here. Who's enjoying the sun if you're in the UK? There's people from US, UK, Africa, India, everywhere on tonight, which is brilliant. But the UK is cooking in 32 degrees, which is a lot for us Brits, 32 degrees. That's like, it's something to complain about. So what we're going to look at tonight is the concept of selling through a digital channel and why it makes a difference. So selling in person, selling on the phone is very different to selling through a digital medium, particularly a text-based medium or a social media. So we're going to look at that. Trinidad and Tobago, North Carolina, Ryan, Moscow. So yeah, United States, all good. Newbury, brilliant. Everybody can hear, that's good. So first things first, just a quick intro to us so you know who we are. We do these sessions every single week. There's a new topic or a different topic every week. And we put around about 1,000 businesses through our training online every month. And our mission as a business is that if we help businesses, some of them will become clients, yes, of course, but actually our mission as a company is to help 1 million businesses grow their revenue, margin, and profit. So that's Maverrik. If you enjoy this training, there's no catch here, but what we would say is if you're watching us on LinkedIn or you're watching us on social media somewhere, follow the page, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. It really does help us get the message out to help other people. So if you get some value from tonight, go do that. That would be awesome. Okay, this is the 3 things that we're going to look at tonight. So number 1, we're going to look at understanding your prospects, priority number 1. Why it's important to leverage curiosity. And then we're going to look at the mechanics to get meetings, And in my usual Dean fashion, we'll probably take some detours and talk about some other bits along the way. But these are the 3 areas I want to have done and nailed by 20 to 8 UK time. So in 47 minutes, so that there's time for Q&A at the end. Okay, so number 1, this is really important. It's kind of the fundamentals of what we believe, we talk about as a business, and everybody who joins our company actually has to get this and understand this, because too many people through whatever medium, and actually it comes from the cold calling world. The cold calling world is you've got to ring people up, complete strangers, get a message out as quickly as you can so that they will bite. And the problem with a digital channel like email, like LinkedIn messaging, like social media, like anything really, is that people have the choice and they can switch off like that. They can literally choose to ignore you. In the conventional cold calling environment or in person, you know, if you're at a trade show or meeting people at a networking event, you've got these advantages of there is a degree of personal courtesy that digital channels don't have. Not in the sense that people will be rude to you, or there are a minority of people who will give you 2-word answers that usually end with off. There's a minority of people who will do that if you try and develop sales conversations. The vast majority will just ignore you. And I was talking to some companies today based in the US, and I said, let's be honest here. The vast majority of what people are doing in sales and marketing, the vast majority of it, 97% of it, achieves nothing. 97% of your automated cold email outreach is achieving nothing. So we really need to come back to the kind of first principles. And this is why it matters, because if you get this, it will help shape the way you think about selling through a digital platform. Now, I love the story, and it's a good point to raise this now, of Elon Musk. When he launched SpaceX, he was looking at, one of the problems that NASA has, one of the problems that going to the moon and all this stuff has, is the fact that it's so expensive. So he looked at, if I've got to make a viable commercial space business, I have to lower the cost of getting into space. That's the most expensive bit. So he went to NASA and said, NASA, what can you do? And he followed all the conventional and tried to make NASA's version cheaper. He went to the Russians and said, can we make the Russian rockets cheaper? And what he was trying to do is make an inefficient design more efficient. Now, think about your own sales activity. Many people do that. Can you make an inefficient process, automated emails, sending lots of more and more activity to get the same result? Can I make that more efficient? And you can innovate a process and make it a little more efficient, but that is very tactical. What Elon Musk decided to do is go back to first principles. So first principles is a principle in physics of what are the basic fundamentals? What do we boil all this down to? And we've got to boil it all down to the very simple things and build back up, because sometimes what we do is we build on faulty premises. So we can make a innovated, poorly performing process, or we can build something that actually is rock solid that will perform. So this is where the sales journey comes in. First principles, let's look at what has to happen. So first principle number one, a customer has to be aware of a problem, number one. They have to want to pursue an outcome. They have to make a decision to change, and they have to decide to purchase a solution. That's the simple journey. And every human being, every business, every decision maker goes through this process. They go, we've got a problem, we're struggling with something, something's not working the way we want, we're frustrated by something, we want something else, we want to increase revenue, we want to close more business, we want to do this, we want to do that. We're going to make a serious decision to change, not choose a supplier, but actually take steps to find an answer. We're actually going to try and find a solution to get us from this place to this place. And then when they go and search for that answer, when they go and do their research, when they go and develop everything, they go for the purchase and they decide, we're going to buy it, we're going to do it, we're going to implement it. That's what they do. That's a very simple and straightforward process. That's what everybody does. Now let's think about this in the sense of what does the salesperson have to do? So what does a salesperson have to do? The salesperson has to convince people that they can, where they are right now, there is a better place with their product or service. Where your customers or your prospects are right now, where their current reality is, you've got to show them that there is a better way and another way to get a result. So every business is selling an end result. Every business, every product, every service is selling an end result. When you know the end result that you can deliver for your clients, when you know that and you can define it in their terms, you can understand their current reality, their point A. Your product or service for your clients becomes valuable when they see it can get them to the outcome. There is no value in a product or service if the customer cannot see how it can add a benefit, a result, or an outcome. Yeah? So hopefully this makes sense. We've got a worksheet we'll share with you. If you want it, you can email us. I'll put the email on screen to help you define. We've actually got 2 worksheets on this to help you define what are the key benefits my customers want. What are the key benefits that we can deliver? And what are the key outcomes we can deliver? Not waffly, not overcomplicated, improved organizational efficiencies and maximizing customer expectations and blah, 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 all randomized stuff. What does this really mean? What does this really mean? You'll retain more business, you'll retain more customers, you'll get more inbound inquiries. Make them really defined. Yeah. So if you want these worksheets, I'll put the email address on screen, hi@maverrik.co.uk, and you can ask us for these worksheets. There's two. There's the one client profile, and there's the 10 statements document, which basically forces you to think about the 10 key reasons why people want to buy your product. And as you do it, it actually gets harder because everybody thinks of the first 3 and that's easy. But as you actually dig deep, you go, yeah, why should somebody buy our product? Why should they? What does it mean to them? Very often we get obsessed with what it means for us. If we sell this product, we get a little bit obsessed about what it means for our business. Yeah. But actually, why don't we spend the time digging into what it means for them? Really dig into that. It will make a huge, huge difference if you can dig into the benefits and the outcomes that the customer gains from you, your product or your service. Then we reverse engineer. So we reverse engineer backwards to their current reality. So if this is the outcomes and the benefits they've got right now, so let's think about this as, let's say I'm an e-commerce company. So I'm an e-commerce company and my website is not generating any sales, or my website's generating low sales. So the benefits of working with you, you're the hypothetical e-commerce marketing agency. So, okay, the benefits of working with the e-commerce marketing agency is improved conversion, less abandoned carts, da 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 da. Make them really specific. And then let's work and reverse engineer what are the pain points and challenges. What's the current reality your customers have? If they want a lower abandoned cart rate, what have they got now? If they want more higher value sales or more upsells or more add-on purchases or higher customer spend, where are they now? So you work from the benefits you can deliver and engineer where the current customers are. That helps you in a number of ways. Number one, it helps you know what the customers are going to pay attention to and what they're going to ignore. The vast majority of things that I see people doing is sending emails, sending messages, and doing all stuff that tells the customer how wonderful you are, but doesn't tell them how wonderful it could be if they bought and worked with you. So don't get obsessed with how wonderful you are. It's so funny. I get some messages from people and emails saying, oh, we've worked with Amazon and these people and blah, 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 all this kind of bragathon. And I'm like, so why you want to talk to me? You've got Amazon, you've got SpaceX, you've got Tesla, you've got all these companies. Why do you want to talk to me again? And some people say, Dean, you've got an inferiority complex. But it's the point. I'm only interested, I'm sorry, and you're the same. You're only interested in what benefits you. I know that's a very cynical way to put it, but that's the truth. Customers, we're all overwhelmed. We've all got too many emails. We've all got too much going on. This is what matters to the customer, where they want to be and where they are now. You can articulate that, and I've done it numerous times. And there's a guy who came on one of our trainings, a veteran of sales, and he said, I implemented some of the things you were saying and I dropped all the stuff that I'd heard. My emails out, he still used automated emails, but you know, that's life. I can't convince people of everything. But he said, the first email in my sequence, I was getting conversations going and starting. So if you focus on these 2 points, these 2 points make the whole damn bit of difference. Then let's look at one other principle. Yeah, you need to find your pain points. That's the exercise. The worksheets are there, the email's on screen. If you want those exercises to help you find them and understand them and how to leverage them, drop us an email, we'll send them to you. But I'm not going to come to that, but first, another principle that you really need to lock horns with here, look at your email messages, look at your LinkedIn messages, look at whatever other messages you're doing to sell, right? How many of them are creating a compelling reason to reply? How many of your messages are push me out and broadcasting and then dumping at the end, shall we have a call? Like, you can waffle enough to convince people to have a call. It's madness. Some of the things we actually do in the name of sales is total madness. I've seen one person, and I'll give you an example of this, and I won't name names. Company sells a £250,000 product, £250,000 product. They want the most efficient process possible, and they want to capture the most sales. Sometimes the most efficient process is confused with the easiest process. They are not the same thing. So the easiest process you can do to sell is set up an automated email and blast people. Blast people with your sales propaganda. And you'll get, if you're lucky, a 1% success rate. But 1% can feel pretty good. But 99% of people have ignored you. That's the easy process. The most efficient process, or the best value process, the highest yielding process, is you scrap all of that automation. I know that's not popular to say in today's automated AI can do everything. Scrap it all and send one email and get one reply. Send 2 emails and get 2 replies. But it comes down to this. You have to understand the customer well. So we send 15 emails to prospects every day. And off that, we get 30% of those meetings, overall 30% into meetings, and our close rate is about 75%. 15 emails. Why? We understand this really well, and we know that the more generic we go, the less successful we will be. And in this GDPR, PECR age, you can't afford to be bluntly lazy in sending emails and sending automated messages that are generic, personalized generic, and then you end up with a lower response rate. So this company selling 250k product software, they were using automated email for 250 grand. Absolute madness. It's worth the effort to make the effort. So ROI, if you spend an hour on one email and it gets you a meeting, is it worth it? Of course it is. What we do is go, oh, I'm not prepared to do the work. Let's let a robot send a generic one and hope for the best. And so the success rate is 1% versus you're missing a success rate of maybe 30%, so somewhere around, let's say 20%. 20% success rate. So you need to find your pain points because they unlock everything, absolutely everything. And those pain points might be different by vertical, but if you don't find them, you don't understand them, and your pain points are always linked to your benefits. The pain points are always linked to the outcomes and results you can deliver. They're actually the negative of the outcomes. They're negative of the benefits. So the second thing I want to talk about here is leveraging curiosity. And again, it builds on the point of the emails that you send and the outreach that you do to talk to prospects, that sometimes what you do, and we're all guilty of it, is we try and give them too much information. We try and do too much in one stage. So I have a firm statement that I always share, and it's you are selling the next step. Your outreach email to a prospect, your outreach email on LinkedIn, whatever it is not to sell your product, because the vast majority of us here are not e-commerce, so we're not selling click and buy. We need to talk to the prospect. We need a two-way, meaningful, open conversation. That's what we need. So all of your effort, your emails, what you're doing on LinkedIn, whatever you're doing to sell digitally, is not about selling the product. at all. It's about selling the conversation. It's about getting them to that conversation. Everybody on this session tonight, everybody is selling the value of a conversation. So when you're sending your email and you're blasting them with all this information about how amazing you are and how wonderful you are and how much gobbledygook you can do, is that really convincing them that it's worth their time to find out a little bit more? And this is where human nature can work for you, in that we're inherently curious creatures. We're inherently curious. We have to know things. We have to find the answers. We have to square the circle. Interesting statistic into human nature. 43% of people who get phishing emails know they're phishing emails but click them anyway. 43%. So you're thinking, Dean, why are you talking about phishing emails? Because human beings have to find things out. 43% of people know they're receiving a phishing email but click it anyway because they're curious. What's going to happen? It's madness, but this is human nature. Line of Duty kept us curious. What's going to happen next? Every single week for 10 years or whatever, however long it ran. 10 years they kept us curious, 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 curious. In fact, curiosity is the key to unlocking the next stage. And think about your sales process. Everybody talks about it as in process, suspect, prospect, and all this stuff. Think about it that people are on a journey of curiosity, and at every stage you've got to keep them curious. So in your first outreach, you're trying to get them curious about, this could be interesting, this could solve a few problems for us. Maybe I will talk to them, maybe I will reply, which is what we want. With every email we send, we want to reply. I know this sounds like I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but sometimes we have to go back to the basics. We're writing an email because we want to reply. Let's look at our own email and think, honestly, would I reply to that? What's the reason I need to reply? Why do I need to spend any time reading this email? Sometimes the shorter, the better. But curiosity is the key. So when you're sending your email, when you're sending your messages, have a look and go, have I left any curiosity here? Or have I've told them everything they need to know so they can evaluate it without having the call? Let's be honest, it's very difficult for me, for you, for everybody to get across our value proposition in an email, in a message, in a 10-second soundbite. It's almost impossible. Yet we try and do it. What we should be doing with our outreach is seeding curiosity so they go, yeah, I want to know more. Seed it, so I want to know more. And then they come on the call and you seed it. Yeah, I want to know more. I want to see how this could work for us. Seed it, move to the next stage. Let's get a proposal. Seed it, move forward. So you're always selling the next step and leveraging curiosity for the next step ahead of you. So stage one, we need to get them to reply and they're curious about having a conversation. That's it. That's it. Stage two is now we've got them on the call. We've showed them a bit of curiosity about how this could work for them. They're starting to see how this could work and how this could benefit them. And so we can move to the next stage. So curiosity, it might kill cats, but it certainly captures prospects. So this is just an example of a process that we have to do. The goal is to get the meeting. The goal of all your activity is the first meeting, because in there you can clarify their need, and we all do this. When we're on a call with a prospect, when a potential client, they'll talk to us and explain to us what their challenges are, and we'll show them how our product, how our service can help solve that problem, that challenge they have. We won't just give them a cookie cutter of this is what our product does, this. We'll actually adapt to what they're saying. We'll adjust our message and the emphasis that we put on particular features of our product based on what they're saying. So this is the process that they'll go through. They'll be aware of you, they'll be curious, they'll show interest, there's a conversation, there's belief, and then there's the buying. That's where they make the decision to buy. Nobody buys unless they believe in you and your product. So the goal is not the product sold, the goal is the first meeting, and you can move it from there. If you try and do an email to try and get people to convince people of all of this stuff and say, shall we have a call? Everybody does this, really annoying. I'll blast you with loads of information and say, can we have a call? And then because that doesn't work, they'll pester you again saying, just floating this to the top of your inbox, or I'm just following back up or circling back. It's like, we didn't have a conversation in the first place. And now you're going, actually, I've implemented a strategy because you ignored me. I'm going to keep coming. Mary Ann, I like that. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. So sell the next step, not the whole road. Sell the next step, not the whole road. The whole road in your email will put people off and you'll get ignored. Your open rates will fall. Your click-through rates will fall. You need to create curiosity to go, tell me more. That's what you want. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. So your process should be bite-sized. It shouldn't be like a big meal. It should be bite-sized, that they can grab hold of and go, yeah, I get that, yeah, I get that, yeah, I get that. And that helps build trust. It helps build belief in the product because they're learning in stages rather than a blast of information in one go. So finally, we've got the mechanics. And I'm going quite quick tonight because it's hot and I'm sure you all want to cool down, particularly in the UK, it's scorching. So the mechanics to get meetings. So how are you using your channels to get meetings? How are you using your channels to get meetings? So vast majority of people using LinkedIn are doing something of a version of cold calling that has pretty much a 99% failure rate. It's basically, we'll send messages to 1,000 prospects. We'll follow up, we'll do all of this stuff, and out comes the bottom. And this is a screenshot of somebody else's process that they put on their website of their results and how it works. So they're advertising this as a successful process. Now, I don't have anything against their process. I just don't think it works. I don't think that this is a sustainable business model. I don't think this is the best of sales. Let's be honest. If this is the best of sales, and it has a 99% failure rate, God help us. It's luck. Honestly, it's luck. This is not sales. This is not skill. This is not a craft of communicating the value of your product. This is literally getting 6 numbers on a Saturday night. But yet we seem addicted to it because it feels easy, and it is easy. We can send 1,000 and we get 4 sales. We feel really rewarded by that. 4 sales still means something. The problem is, how many told you politely to get lost? How many did you train to ignore you? And how many said, please do not contact me, unsubscribe, GDPR, don't talk to me again? Every time you do this, you put people who you'll never be able to talk to again because of GDPR. So think about that. This process, you think actually it's a shortcut to the sale, that has a massive inefficiency rate, is actually also permanently cutting some people off from you. Probably at least 15 to 20% of going through this process will have some kind of unsubscribe, no thanks. Let's say it's 10%. So what we're saying is that this process, let's say it's 10% people say remove, do not contact, leave me alone, GDPR, all that kind of stuff. Say 10% go through this process and say, don't talk to me ever again. 10%. So you think that's quite pretty low, but that's more people than you've sold to. Think about that as a process. I find this baffling that we have this, and I'm guilty of it too. So we're hooked on this and we think this is brilliant. But the numbers, when you look at 99% failure rate, and actually more people, you will isolate more people than you will sell to. That's not a successful strategy. It's also not scalable. If you can have 100,000 customers, maybe 400 coming out the other side in a year is good. Yeah? Good luck finding the 100,000. If you're a small business, that's a hell of a job. If you're a huge corporate, you might need 1 million. Can you really work with these numbers? It doesn't scale. It doesn't scale. So curiosity is your key, and we need to eliminate this transactional way of selling where it's like, I'm going to tell you, and if you want it, I'll chase you a couple of times, and if you don't, I'll leave you alone for a bit. You need to create a systematic sales process, not a systemic sales problem. And to be honest with you, a lot of people, will say one thing. You could do this in 1 month and you'd be happy you got 4 sales. 4 sales. The problem is that when you start to do it in month 6 and month 7, you've churned so many people and it will not be able to deliver long-term results. And then what you'll do is you'll move to the next thing, or you'll look for the next hack in the way to do it. Oh, we'll put a personalized image in it, or we'll put a personalized video in it, or we'll put an emoji in it, or we'll change the subject line. So you play this tactical game all the time when actually we want to use skill, we want to use strategy, and we want to be efficient. Both not efficient in our time, efficient in the result. Efficient in the result. If we get an efficient result, the time and all of that stuff takes care of itself. So mechanics to get meetings. So LinkedIn, we've got a checklist that we put together, social selling checklist. You can have this for free. What we've learned over the last 8 years of doing social media and selling through digital channels, even when LinkedIn was young and email was shiny, maybe not so 8 years ago, but 8 years Maverik's existed, we've learned this stuff, known this stuff, and delivered this stuff both in our own business and other businesses. We know one simple thing about LinkedIn, and I'm sure some of you will have been to some of our other sessions. We know if you want to sell and get a meeting with a senior decision maker, and I'm not talking like a small business here, I'm talking about if you want to get a serious conversation with somebody at a high level and you want to use LinkedIn as the channel, there are 3 to 4 interactions you have to do to actually get that conversation. 3 to 4 interactions. Some, even senior, might be 6 or 7. But you have to do them. If you think you can just cold pitch the CEO of a major company, or the CTO, or the CIO, or the CMO, or any of those major department leaders or board level people, and think you can just pitch them in a message, you are mistaken. So this social selling checklist is free. I'll put the email address on screen. You can email us and we'll send it to you, because it will help you really understand and get your head round, okay, I've got to do some work. If I want to win that business, if I want to win that £250,000 product sale, if I want to win that account, I'm going to have to put some work in, and it can't be anybody else. It has to be me. Has to be me, because I'm the key to the relationship. I'm going to unlock this account. I want the commission. I want the deal. I have to do it. I can't delegate it to a robot. They're not clever enough. They're not smart enough. They're not as nuanced as you can be one-to-one moving a £250,000 account. So we know 3 to 4 interactions is key to unlocking a conversation with a senior decision maker in a large enterprise organization. So if you want to use LinkedIn, you need the checklist. It's free. I'll put the email address on screen. Next one, email. This is actually an email that I got. Email is probably it is one of the best channels to get in front of decision makers. It is, even to this day with ads and all this stuff, it is. And this is the message that was sent to me from one of our students about how we change their thinking. There's no tactic, there's no hack here. It's not about a hack. It's about getting back to the basics. It's about getting back to first principles of, I'm communicating with a human, and my primary goal of this call or of this email is to get a call. It's to get a conversation. It's to get them to reply and say, yes, I'll talk to you. That's it. That's it. And we overcomplicate it. And this is an email, I love sharing this email because I'll read a little bit of it. I'm going to level with you. I didn't have high hope for our time together last week. Before I left for Bali, I did 10 years of selling at enterprise software startups, so I have death by social selling courses previously. And I've got a ton of delivery to execute as I lead projects here. Just thought I'd let you know, after our chat Monday, I refocused some of our medium value target email sequence messaging and got a 51% open rate on a batch of 35 with 10 clicks and 2 replies from email 1 in a sequence, which is unheard of. So this is me eating humble pie. You may be watching. I love this little email. I'm going to keep it forever. Apologies for maybe privately being a little cynical and saying thank you. Let me want you, if you want a testimonial. It's all about the humanity of this. When we forget that we're trying to convince humans to take action and we're trying to do it, we do one-to-one emails in our business. So I have a member of our team who puts the emails together, does the research for every single email we send. So there's no cold outreach, shall we say, that goes out that isn't really focused. I mean, really focused down to that person. There's no automation involved. We send it because we want the reply. The replies are really important. Excuse me. If you know that if you get them on a meeting, if you get a prospect on a meeting, you know that your close rate's 70%. Your problem is not getting closed deals. Your problem is getting people on the call in the first place. And maybe the reason you're struggling to get people on calls is because you're trying to automate, you're trying to genericize, you're trying to do all of those things, when actually what you need to do is bring it down to one-to-one. Pain, problem, outcome, benefit, result. And I'm not selling my product, I'm selling the value of a conversation. That's all you need to do. And if anybody wants to ask some questions about it, feel free to find me on LinkedIn and I'll send you some of our template emails. In fact, actually, I don't know if anybody's watching this, from Maverrik. If you want to see some of our email structures, I'll happily share them. Just email us and I'll send you some of the structures and outlines of how we do it and how we make it personalized. Like really personal. Sometimes too personal, but they always get replies. So we as a business do not believe in cold calling. So we just don't think it works. We don't think that spending hours on a phone dialing people to be told no to find the one, to find the needle in the haystack works. So what we do is we never cold call, and you never need to cold call. All you have to do is focus on, I've got to get a meeting. So I've got to keep people curious to go, this is worth looking at. And then that's it. I'll come back. So, if you're looking for more meetings, let me give you some tips and then we'll do some Q&A. If there's any questions here, anybody's got any questions, please put them in the chat. Tom Thompson, oh man, you're hitting close to home, preach it. I'm just passionate about it. I just really see that in our eagerness, I said this to somebody the other day, sometimes our eagerness to get sales betrays us because our eagerness makes us lose our common sense. And our common sense is customer needs to have a problem. We need to demonstrate we can solve that problem. They will buy if they see the value. But the first job is we've got to talk to the customer. We've got to get in a conversation with the customer. And actually, for most people, 90% of people, once they're on a meeting, their sales conversion rate is probably half decent. Yeah, I've met maybe one or two people whose call rate, their conversion off a call was like atrocious. Most people are half decent at that. If you do enough of them, you get a practice at it. The problem is we can't figure out, and hundreds of thousands of salespeople all across the world right now are just trying to chase down, how do I get people on calls? How do I get people on calls? And that's all we're doing. How do I get people to reply? And yet we're sending all these emails blasting how amazing we are and how wonderful we are. And I remember a few years ago, somebody said to me, and it stuck with me, stop trying to create consideration before conversation. Stop trying to create consideration before conversation. What do I mean by that? When you send your long-winded email, when you send how amazing you are, when you send all of that stuff, yeah, you're trying to get people to go, this looks interesting, I'll weigh this up, and this could be exciting, or this could be, and they've worked with these people, and I'm getting them to consider it. I'm trying to make them have an analytical, logical decision. Look how good this is, so I must logically want that conversation. It's not how it works. That's consideration. And in actual fact, most studies have found the more you give people, there's a Goldilocks element to this, but the more information you give to people, the less likely they are to actually to make a decision. So there is a Goldilocks element to this. If you give them too little, they ignore you. And if you give them too much, they ignore you. And so your job is to actually go down the middle and go, I've got to give them enough curiosity and enough to go, this could be interesting. So there's a bit of meat, but I'm not serving a frigging hog roast. Yeah? So some of my emails are really short. Some of them are a bit long because I space them out. And a lot of curiosity, a ton of curiosity. You can't overdo curiosity. So has anybody got any questions? Obviously there's the resources you can get for free. Fazeo has asked, would you recommend this process for all companies? I would absolutely recommend the best thing you can do. Obviously, I'm preaching from the hilltops here about some bad practice, some low skill activity. But what I would do as first base is go back and go, let's just sit down for a minute, even if it's just for an hour, and go, why do people want to buy our stuff? Why do they want to buy it? What's their motivations? What's they trying to achieve? Okay, that's what they're trying to achieve. Are we actually talking about that? Are we actually showing people that? Are we communicating that? And then the meeting, the first call, the conversation, the discovery call, whatever you call it, that's where you can help tailor what you know about your product to fit the customer's need. So they can see the need. I've got a mug upstairs from a podcast. I have this weird habit of saying rhyming things. So I've got a mug upstairs which somebody sent me from a podcast I did. If they don't see the need, they will never become a lead. So our job is to work on, we're selling a call. First out the bat, we're selling the value of a call. Curiosity, we're selling the value of a call. Okay. In that call, my job is to show them their need, to help them see their need, so that then they can move forward into my process. That's the real key here. Creating curiosity. So John B has asked about creating curiosity. I have an email that I send where I basically audit their business from what I see externally. And I say, I've seen a lot of things that you're doing, a lot of things that you're trying to get your message out there, and you're missing opportunities. And I've shown you some of those opportunities. It's quite in depth, but it's not long-winded. It's quite visual in the way I do it. And I show them some of the opportunities they've missed. And then say, look, I can help you ramp up your reach, draw the attention of your target clients, and get more meetings. And I just want to show you what I can do. I'll give you some free tips. Can we have a conversation? That's my email. No, we're specialists this, we've got this, we've done this for who, and how many awards we've got, how many people love us, none of that stuff, none of the gobbledygook. All of that stuff I forget and strip away, and I'm trying to create curiosity, and they're missing opportunities. They've got priorities around growing their revenue and their sales targets, and I show them that they're missing some. And then say, look, I can show you how you can fix it. I'll do it for free. Let's just have the call. And in that call, I identify their needs, identify their challenges, show them some value, and then say, this is how we could move forward. This is how we could help. This is how we could propose to help you do this in a shorter and faster time frame. Any questions? Any more questions? I dumped a lot of information there in 40 minutes. And I'm more than happy to share the replay. Some of you watching this, you might go, actually, I'd love to talk to Maverrik. We'll put a link out tomorrow, or you can email us, email on screen for any of the resources. Chris McRae has asked a question about how do you structure the subject line for them to even open the email? Well, Chris, number one, think about this from the customer's world. We're all getting far too many emails, so we triage emails. We triage our emails. So we all triage. So Fedor's asked a question. Patrick's asked a question. And Patrick's asked a question. So I'll go through these questions. So Chris McRae, how do you structure the subject line to get them to even open the email? Number one, my email subject lines are personal to the individual. So sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long, and I look at who's the person and what's their motivation. So often I'm looking at what people are doing on LinkedIn, and I'm talking to them about what's happened on LinkedIn. So I might put your LinkedIn post, or I might put this on, or something like that. Or sometimes I put their first name, and I'll put Chris, or something like that. So that's really what I do. So I look for something that gets the attention. Again, curiosity. And Alicia's just said, how important is the subject line? Massive, huge, huge. So, so let me just go back through some here. So let's go up. So Chris McRae, subject line. Patrick, I know you're in our pipeline. Yeah, I know you're in a pipeline, and I have a principle here. That is, we will never hound somebody for a sale. So Patrick, if you believe we can help you, we're here. But we'll follow up and see how you're doing, but we're not going to hound you. You know you need it. We know we can help it. We've got the testimonials of people who've been through our process. That's up to you. Yeah, so if you think you need it, you believe you need it, and you believe we can help you, that's your decision. Who have we got? Saiful said, more effective than cold calling. Yeah, if you spend 8 hours cold calling, you'll probably make 100 calls and get maybe 1 or 2 bites. Yeah, I can send 15 emails and get 5 bites. And 15 emails don't take 8 hours. Jimmy, you could start tomorrow. Yeah, you could do it tomorrow. So you could implement it tomorrow. Fizeo, no, sometimes we'll research their website, we'll research their company accounts, we'll research any data sources we can find to help see how they can help. Patrick, just so you know, I think Terry's on the chat, so you've kind of tipped him off now, so he'll be following up. Tom Thompson, we don't think about it like a funnel. Well, we do, but we don't think about it in the classic way of, you know, top of funnel, middle of funnel, all that kind of stuff. We think about it as people are on a journey to believe us. They either believe in us or they don't, and we will continue to put stuff out to help belief. Sometimes chasing and proactivity can bite you in the ass. So, and sometimes not being proactive can bite you in the ass. So we try and strike a happy medium of we'll follow up, but hey, if you're ignoring us, if you're not responding to us, we need to do a better job in getting you belief. So we'd rather have you in our world socially and in social media and some of our other stuff, building that belief until you're ready. So it's a very different model than we operate than most businesses, because we literally have tens of thousands of potential prospects that we're helping every week. And some of them will reach the point and go, we need Maverrik. And that's good for us. And some people watching this will come and they'll come to everything and never buy anything. And that's cool too. Because the benefit of what we do is we're creating broad reach, broad market awareness, giving value. So lots of people have got, man, that Maverrik team, they've given us some good stuff. And the people who really need it, the people who want to take action and make a decision to purchase and actually see us as the solution, will engage with us and we'll engage with them. Yeah, so Patrick, yeah, Terry's got you now. He's on you. No, Terry's all right. Any other questions? So I need to cool down now because I keep saying it's 32 degrees. It's only so often it gets to 32 degrees here. If there's no more questions, if you'd like to talk to us, you can email us on screen. If you want any of the resources that we've said about tonight, you can get them for free. There's no catch. You can have them for free. Just drop us an email. And if you want to talk to us, email us and say, look, it's time. And Laura, yes, let's stop harassing each other on email. That would be brilliant. Fedor, sorry, I didn't. What did Fedor say? Sorry, I missed Fedor. What did I sell before? So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, because people say, well, what did you do before? So when I was 17, I started as a sales exec in a small graphics company where I used to live up north. And I wanted to be in sales because I liked the cut and thrust of it all, but I couldn't hack the cold calling thing. So I thought about how can I, this is pre-internet this, how can I sell but not do the cold call? So 17, 18 years old, I decided I'll create curiosity, oddly enough, and I helped the company I was working for get a conversation and a meeting with a major automotive brand that wanted to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on their showroom graphics. This is a long time ago, in the 90s. And I realised I had a knack of finding ways to do things without cold calling. And I've worked in various sales jobs, business process outsourcing, printing, media, visual stuff, all of that stuff, TV commercials, I worked in television, all the time going, how do I show people they have a need for me, a need for what we've got to offer, and show them they need to know more? And that method has basically been through my whole career. I may not have realised it at certain points, but that's what I've done. I've avoided the cold call and found different ways. So if I don't want to do a cold call, what's the other way I can do it? So in 2006, I was working for a big outsourcing business, and I had a target of 1.5 million a year of new business, outsourcing contracts. And in my first year, I did 1.8 million, and I did it with a letter. I did it a couple of letters, but maybe 100 letters, and I did 1.8 million pounds because I wrote letters. Emails, I've done all the stuff, but it's always been, how can I convince that person that they need me, or they need us, or they need the product? And so now we teach it, we train it, we implement it for companies. What sort of info do you look for to create a personal email? So it comes back to, what's the problems I can foresee that they're likely to have if they don't have my product or service? That's really what I'm looking for. If I've mapped my benefits and my outcomes from people being my customer, I can reverse engineer what's their current reality. And so most of my emails revolve around where they are and where they want to be. Point A to point B. Fedor, sorry I missed your question. Hopefully I've answered it now. Any other questions before I sign off for the evening? Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Just one quick favour. Obviously you've got the resources and the call if you want it. If you've enjoyed the session, do the thumbs up, the follows, the subscribes, all that stuff that helps the algorithm. That would be really appreciated. And we have sessions coming up. I think tomorrow night I'm actually doing one for startups. So you can check out our Eventbrite if you want that. And on Thursday we're doing another session for businesses in Oxfordshire. But we run sessions every single week. So please check them out. If there's any suggestions of sessions you think, actually, we'd really love to hear about this, drop us an email and say, we'd really love to hear your thoughts on this, and we'll put a session together on that. So from me, for sale, would you say all automated sales and marketing systems have no value? No. There is a place for automated marketing. I don't think there's a place for automated sales. Because marketing is about generating interest and awareness, so there's a lot you can do in an automated way there. Ads and all that kind of stuff, programmatic ads. But when it comes to sales, you're trying to hold the hand of a person and take them to a deal and get them to agree a deal. That's so much human You can't automate that process. Yuma, how do you change the culture of cold calling in an organization? It's actually, it's a process. We've worked out that most businesses, to implement any new process, they need to commit to it and implement it daily for 90 days to change a culture. Cold calling is hard to kick because even though it's unsuccessful 99% of the time, it feels good. It feels productive. You're ticking boxes and getting stuff done. It's not the most efficient. So it's a commitment. It's a commitment of will. And the downside is that cold calling frenetic activity, even though you know the success rate is low, it feels very addictive. It feels very productive. Instinctively, it feels productive. So that's a battle of, we know it doesn't work, but it kind of does enough to keep going. And we know there's a better way, but we don't want to lose that because we're reliant on that. So there is an internal battle that at some point a company has to go, we're going to do this. And it is a decision and a will of decision. And we've taken some companies where they've said to us, right, take a small test sample of sales team, park them off over here and implement all the different strategies we teach. And then we'll compare per head count the difference. And it's landslide difference, absolute landslide difference. John B, talk to me, I'm a culture change maker. I'm not sure, Rayshard, what you're saying there. Do you take contracts to assist in sales? We don't, Rayshard, you're probably better at emailing us. I'm not sure what you mean there. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I need to go and cool down because it's a scorcher. Thank you so much for watching. If you want the replay, just email us. We'll send it all to you. And don't forget all that stuff. Thanks for watching, Dean Seddon and Maverrik. And we'll see you on the next session where we'll teach you how to grow your revenue, margin and profit.